Right now on Morning News Now, a turbulent transition for the incoming Trump administration. This morning, misconduct allegations mounting against Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth as he meets with senators ahead of confirmation hearings. And President-elect Trump's pick for Attorney General also working to win votes on Capitol Hill. We'll tell you more on yesterday's meetings and the challenges still ahead. Also this morning, protest and pushback over President Biden's pardoning of his son Hunter.
If it was my son, I'd pardon him too. But here's what I didn't like. Don't lie to us. Don't tell us you're not going to do it and then do it.
Plus, a new challenger in the fight to lead House Democrats on a powerful committee. We'll bring you the latest. And say it ain't snow. Millions of Americans waking up to an early winter as a powerful storm makes its way through several states. We're tracking the conditions, the dangers, and what to expect where you live. And home alone, but not lonely. The new research that shows just how important me time is for your mental health. It is kind of nice when you get the house to yourself randomly.
Macaulay Culkin was onto something there. Who knew? It was good for his mental health. Good to have you with us. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks for starting your day with us. We're going to begin our show this morning on Capitol Hill, where Republican senators appear to be brushing aside concerns over Pete Hegseth's fitness to be the next Secretary of Defense.
Yesterday, President-elect Trump's pick to lead the Pentagon met with a group of Republican senators amid recently emerged allegations of sexual assault and alcohol abuse. Hegseth, a former Fox News host, has denied any wrongdoing. NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard joins us now from West Palm Beach. Vaughn, good morning. So what happened at these Capitol Hill meetings, and just how much support does Hegseth appear to have from Republican senators as these allegations swirl around him?
Yeah, good morning, guys. These meetings are not exactly coronations where there is abundant, clear support for these nominees that Donald Trump intends to put forward. But instead, it's going to take that simple majority for each of these nominees to pass through the Senate come January and February during their confirmation proceedings. And that's where you saw Pete Hegseth up on the Hill after two more damning allegations and articles came forward over the course of the weekend, in which there was a New Yorker piece that obtained a whistleblower report from his previous veterans organization that he had once helmed back from 2013 to 2016, in which he was alleged to have engaged in sexual misconduct as well as financial mismanagement and repeated intoxication. And that is where there's some serious questions for these particularly Republican senators who could still be on the fence and have not committed to voting for him yet, the extent to which they will seek through the approval of his confirmation process. I want to let you listen, though, to Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville, who, after meeting with him yesterday up on Capitol Hill, suggested that he intends to move forward with him. Take a listen.
We need a drill sergeant in the military. We need somebody to straighten the military out, to get the woke, the DEI affiliation out, and go from there.
And you don't have any concerns about the allegations against him in the New Yorker article, sir?
No, I've looked at all the personal stuff, and again, I've known him for a long time, and there's not going to be anything to this at the end of the day.
There's not going to be anything to this at the end of the day. Tommy Tuberville indicating that he intends to go full steam ahead with supporting Pete Hegseth's nomination. But on the other hand, there's another Republican senator, Roger Wicker from Mississippi, who suggested yesterday to NBC News that he wants a full FBI background check to go through into Pete Hegseth before he were to vote for his confirmation.
Vaughn, let's talk about another pick here. This one for Attorney General Pam Bondi. She was making the rounds on Capitol Hill yesterday. We saw she met with Senator Chuck Grassley. That's important because he'll be the incoming chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee. What came out of her meetings, and after what happened with Matt Gaetz, how likely is it that she'll earn the nomination? Where's support at for her?
Right. She also met with Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. And as of right now, compared to the likes of Pete Hegseth and, of course, Matt Gaetz, who has already stepped aside, who was Donald Trump's initial attorney general pick, she is being much more welcomed and received with an extent of warmth and embrace by the Republican caucus up on Capitol Hill. Of course, she's going to still have some serious questions, and she's going to have to answer to. In 2020, she was out on the campaign trail in the aftermath of the election, suggesting that Donald Trump actually won the state of Pennsylvania when that was not actually the case. And the other question that she's undoubtedly going to face during those confirmation proceedings next year is the extent to which she would seek to prosecute perceived enemies of Donald Trump's, particularly with the likes of Kash Patel being nominated by Donald Trump to be the FBI director.
And Vaughn, we're also learning President-elect Trump is going to be heading to Paris this weekend for the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral. It's his first overseas trip since winning the election. Tell us about that. And is a meeting with France's President Macron a possibility?
Yes, this is, for Donald Trump, going to be his first overseas trip since, of course, winning the presidency, but also he didn't travel overseas at all during his 2024 campaign. And so for Donald Trump, so far he has seen multiple, foreign leaders come to Mar-a-Lago over the course of the last months, from Hungary's Viktor Orban to just over this weekend, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau came and had dinner at Mar-a-Lago. The new NATO Secretary General was also here in West Palm Beach to meet with Donald Trump last week. These foreign leaders understanding the importance of building up this relationship with Donald Trump on the outset. But he is going to be going for the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral, which nearly burned down 5 years ago. And of course, the question is the extent to which he may meet with President Macron to ensure that there is relation between the United States and our ally France.
Right. Vaughn Hilliard. Vaughn, thank you so much.
We want to turn now to the latest in a leadership battle that's brewing among House Democrats on Capitol Hill. So Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin, a former constitutional law professor, is vying to unseat the current top Democrat on the powerful House Judiciary Committee. That's Congressman Jerry Nadler of New York. In a letter announcing his candidacy, Raskin, a cancer survivor, said the Judiciary Committee will be the headquarters of congressional opposition to authoritarianism and MAGA's campaign to dismantle our constitutional system. I hope to be at the center of this fight. And as someone who has battled cancer and chemotherapy, I can tell you that I will never, never surrender. For more on this, let's bring in NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale. Ali, good morning. So it seems like this makes some sense, right? Democrats sort of trying to regroup in the wake of their election loss to Donald Trump, and this being a piece of that. But tell us why this particular role on the House Judiciary Committee is so important, even with the House in Republican control.
Well, the Judiciary Committee, as Raskin rightly points out, is one of the key epicenters. What you get when you have gavel control in the House is you get subpoena power. And so for someone like Jim Jordan, James Comer, we've seen what they've been able to do with that subpoena power over the course of the last 2 years. I would argue they were not able to drill down on the investigations front in the way that they had hoped, largely because they were never able to find any there with the things that they pursued. But certainly we've seen some of the promises that Jordan and other Trump allies have made of what they're going to do with the gavel now that they continue to keep it. So for Raskin, he was the ranking member on the Oversight Committee, sparred with James Comer, the head of that committee, for the last 2 years. And now he's looking to make his way over to the Judiciary Committee because, as he says, it's the epicenter of the so-called MAGA movement. Jordan, of course, a very long-time Trump ally. And so we're watching Raskin try to make his way to be the top Democrat on that committee. It might make sense to everyone who's not in Washington or in the Capitol every day, but I cannot stress to you guys enough how rare it is to see Democrats be challenging the senior members of their party for these plum committee chair assignments, or in this case, the ranking member assignments. The difference between Democrats and Republicans in the House is Republicans term limit the people who head up their committees. Democrats do not. There's a whole number of reasons for that. But the fact that we're now seeing not just Raskin challenging the senior member, in this case it's Jerry Nadler of New York, not just Raskin challenging him, but then also seeing other committee chairs be challenged or pressured out, it's really stunning, and it's sort of the sign of a new age of doing things, new way of doing things potentially on the Hill.
Yeah, so Ali, what else are you watching then?
Well, the fact that we're also seeing Congressman Raul Grijalva, who is the longtime committee chair of the Natural Resources Committee. He knew he was going to be getting his own challenge from younger members. He yesterday, in a letter that I obtained to his colleagues, also said he was going to step aside. And so we're watching in this instance the fact, and I'm just dialing back into you guys because I lost you, but we saw him step down. We're seeing this happen at other committee levels because as we watch this Congress turnover, we are also now watching the committee chairman's turnover along with it.
Ali Vitale, thank you as always.
Nearly a month has passed since Election Day, when more than 150 million people across the country voted in the presidential race. And now that nearly all the ballots of the 2024 election have been counted, we do have a clearer picture of the accuracy of the polls, both national and battleground polls, during this cycle.
Yeah, according to the Pew Research Center, this year's national polls turned in one of the best performances in presidential polling in decades. But this morning, we're taking a look at what those polls got right and where they might have missed the mark. We've got NBC News senior political editor Mark Murray joining us with more on all this. Mark, good morning. Always great to have you with us.
So let's start with what the polls got right. You now say that beyond signaling that the 2024 presidential election was competitive and uncertain, the polls nailed the political atmospherics that shaped the contest. So let's look at that. The final NBC News polls had President-elect Trump, Vice President Harris in a dead heat race right up till Election Day, like so many other polls. About a month later, what do we know?
Yeah, Joe, the polls got more right than they ended up getting wrong. And you ended up looking at our own final national NBC News poll that showed a tied race between Donald Trump and Camilla Harris at 49% each. The real clear averages nationally were in that same ballpark. And again, the final result, Donald Trump was a little bit more than that. Kamala Harris was a little bit less. But given a lot of the past misses that we've seen in presidential elections, particularly going back to 2020, this was a much better performance for the polls. And is also mentioned, you know, the atmospherics got right. President Biden was unpopular. You ended up having a super majority of the country who think that the nation was headed in the wrong direction. Those were some of the big, broad stories that the polls were telling before the election, and that turned out to be the case.
Mark, now let's talk about the opposite and kind of two things here, where polls did get things wrong, but then also what factors lead to sort of like the perception that polls were wrong.
Yeah. So, Savannah, you know, as I mentioned earlier, once again, Donald Trump's support was a little understated. Certainly not as what we ended up seeing in 2020 and 2016, but he ended up outperforming his polls. But to me, and when we look at our own NBC News poll, maybe the biggest miss was that size of the overall gender gap. We were talking about a historic gender gap, and what it turned out to be was this was kind of almost the same gender gap that we've seen in past presidential contests in 2016 and 2020. Now, where there was a gender gap was when you end up adding education to that, college degrees, and that's where we ended up seeing a wide educational gap between men without college degrees and women with them.
So, Mark, if there's one number that explains why we saw what we saw, I think it's this. The NBC News exit poll found 73% of voters say that they were either angry or dissatisfied with the country's direction. Mr. Trump swept the battleground states, winning all 7. Felt like a surprise at the time, but that persistent dissatisfaction, that was key in the final result, right?
Yeah, Joe, I actually think that was the whole ball game. And, you know, usually you end up having a president winning re-election or a presidential administration winning re-election when people say, hey, you know what, good times are here again. It's morning in America. Things are on the right track, or at least are getting better, like what we saw for Barack Obama in 2012. But with 73% of voters saying that the country, that they thought the country was heading in the wrong direction and they were dissatisfied, made it very difficult for Democrats to keep control of the White House.
Mark, for viewers who, you know, just want to know more about how this all works, how we make these polls, what we'll do differently, how does this information impact and help poll gurus like yourself better prepare for the next round of election polling? Do any changes come after one of these?
Yeah, Savannah, one of the big lessons that we were telling at NBC News throughout this entire cycle was that polls aren't precise instruments. That if you get a number that says it's one candidate's at 50% and another candidate's at 49%, that one candidate at 50% isn't guaranteed to win. In fact, all that we know about that kind of result, that it's close. And the polls did tell us about the atmosphere. They told us this was a very close and uncertain race. And that's kind of the extent to what polls can do.
Mark Murray, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, President Biden is making history as the first U.S. president to visit the southern African nation of Angola.
Mr. Biden arrived Monday on a mission to promote American investments in the region. He'll also be showcasing an American-backed multi-billion-dollar railway project and announcing several global health and security initiatives.
NBC News White House correspondent Aaron Gilchrist is traveling with the president and joins us with more on his visit. Aaron, good morning. So President Biden is scheduled to meet with the president of Angola today. Walk us through some of the highlights of his agenda for this 3-day trip?
Yeah, the president really is here to highlight the work that his administration has done, particularly in Angola, really for the entirety that President Biden has been in office. This gathering today with the president of Angola, João Lorenzo, is an opportunity for President Biden to sit down with his counterpart here. And I should note that they are right now at the presidential palace here in Luanda, having this bilateral meeting, talking about trade opportunities, talking about security cooperation opportunities, talking about infrastructure that the Biden administration has spent so much time, resources, intellect, and money investing in here in Angola. In particular, you referenced the Lobito corridor. That's about an hour flight away from here. The port is, and that's really an area where this rail project has been invested in to the tune of upwards of $3 billion just here in Angola. This railway actually stretches into the Democratic Republic of Congo and touches Zambia in some ways, and will ultimately, the hope is, stretch from one ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, to the other, the Indian Ocean, and be a way for these countries that are rich in minerals to be able to get those resources to the port faster. Now it can take sometimes weeks to do that. The hope is that it would be able to be something that can be done in a couple of days to get those resources to the markets around the world more quickly, and it would be something that would help the economy here, obviously, in Angola, but economies around the world as well, guys.
So, Aaron, with just a few weeks left in the White House, it is notable President Biden is prioritizing this visit to sub-Saharan Africa right before the end of his term. Just what's the overall goal, and where does China fit into all of this?
You asked a good question about China. We know that China is a country that has been investing billions of dollars across the African continent for the better part of a decade now. It is a country that owns mines, for example, in the Democratic Republic of Congo as a result of some of the work that they've been doing here. They've got business relationships with Angola as well. And so it sort of looks as though the Biden administration, as well as other Western nations, are sort of playing catch up here, not necessarily, though, trying to push China out of the market. We just spoke with the president's spokesperson from the National Security Council about this very question of China. I want you to hear a little bit of his response.
What we're focused on, honestly, is, again, improving our bilateral relationships here on the continent, improving the lives and livelihoods of all Africans, because we know that improves, as I said, the global economy. This isn't a race with another country. We're not asking other countries to choose between the United States and Russia, the United States and China.
And so we also heard from John Kirby and other senior administration officials that the effort here is not necessarily to push China out of the market, but to say to these African nations that the United States is coming to the table with better options, with higher standards for production, with assurances that child labor won't be a concern, by using American companies and by working with the United States to develop some of the economic opportunities that could exist here in Angola and in neighboring countries as well, Joe and Savannah.
Aaron, the U.S., through all of this, is committing $3 billion to some of these projects, that railway project, for example, other investments there. Do we have a sense of what the future of these projects will be under the incoming Trump administration? Will it be a priority?
That's a question that we've asked several administration officials, and the consensus seems to be that there's not a great concern. Obviously, the Biden administration can't speak for the incoming Trump administration, but there seems to be that there's not a great concern that the Trump administration would come in and try to undo so much of the work that's been done with Angola up until this point. There's a belief among administration officials that the economic benefits of working with Angola are ones that were, some of them were established during the first Trump administration. They've been enhanced and advanced by the Biden administration, and the belief is that the incoming Trump administration would be one that wants to continue to see these economic opportunities grow here in Angola and across the African continent.
Aaron Gilchrist traveling with the president for us. Thank you very much.
Now to the powerful winter storm making its way across the Great Lakes and Northeast, bringing several feet of lake-effect snow.
Yeah, this morning officials are trying to help people who have been stuck inside their homes since Friday, as forecasters are calling for another round of severe weather to hit the area.
NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin is in Erie, Pennsylvania, joins us with the latest. So, Aaron, you're in western Pennsylvania on Lake Erie. They're used to getting a lot of snow. They're used to sometimes measuring in feet, not in inches. So tell us, how much snow are they getting? Any impact there? Are folks even mildly disturbed by all this snow?
Hey, Joe, they're shocked. You know, as you mentioned, they're used to getting a lot of snow in this part of the country, but the sheer amount of snow that fell in a short period of time is shocking, folks. I was speaking to one resident here in Erie, Pennsylvania, who said for the first time she was snowed in. She said that when the snow started to fall, she said she thought it was a normal storm. Every 2 hours, she said her timer was going out and shoveling the snow to make sure she didn't get snowed in. But she said she reached a point where it just got to be too much. She went to open her door and it was stuck. She stayed there for 3 days, surviving on Thanksgiving leftovers. She said she's never seen anything like it. We were out yesterday with county officials as they were making wellness checks, going from house to house, receiving calls from elderly folks who also couldn't get out of their homes. One man, 75-year-old Navy veteran, needed oxygen or relied on oxygen. And this is really a life or death matter for him. We watched as a county executive personally went and dug his way out of that home. So some really shocking scenes in this region. Yes, they're used to the snow, but just not this much and that fast.
Saying something in a place where people set their alarms to shovel every 2 hours and they still can't keep up with it.
No kidding.
All right, Aaron, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
And for more on this first significant blast of winter, let's take a closer look at your morning news now weather.
Meteorologist Michelle Grossman is here. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, guys. And that snow is still falling today. We're going to see some heavier bands tomorrow as well, with a clipper system coming in. That's going to reinforce those snow bands, especially downwind of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. So no surprise, once again, waking up to winter alerts. 6 million people impacted. We have lake effect warnings. That's in that aqua blue color, winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. That includes the UP and Michigan as well. Notice it includes parts of Maine and also parts of New England, because we are looking at that clipper system bringing some higher elevation snow. So let's take you through the next couple of days. Today, we're going to see those cold winds still blowing over those warmer waters. Again, the waters are in the upper 40s, the low 50s. That's going to enhance that snowfall because the waters are so warm with that Arctic air flowing over it. And then there's that clipper system that's going to move through. That's going to bring new snow to the upper Midwest, and we could see some accumulating snow in spots, especially in the UP and Michigan. By tomorrow, the snow moves into the interior Northeast. You see a little bit of rain mixing in some spots, and we will see that enhanced snowfall, the bands over those Great Lakes. So we still have accumulating snow to come over the next several days. Thursday is going to be a slick day. Snowy and slick travel for most of New England, and a cold rain likely near the coast, because we have that chilly air in place, and it's going to stay chilly for a few days, at least for this week. Now, snowfall totals, notice all these pinks and purples. We kind of always point that out because that translates to the higher amounts. So we're looking at higher amounts along the lakes. Once again, the higher elevations of New England into Vermont, New Hampshire, also Maine, and then notice into Michigan and the UP and Michigan. That includes the lower peninsula as well. It's a chilly start in the southeast. Once again, we had freeze warnings yesterday. We're starting out with freeze warnings. Once again, we have a freeze watch for tomorrow morning as well, because temperatures are chilly this morning, and we will stay cool as we go throughout. Most of the East Coast will stay cool with that jet stream so far to the south. There are those temperatures right now below freezing in some spots, and that's in Florida as well. Now, this is interesting. Some chilly, some mild. We have that jet stream in place. Notice it's dipped so far to the south still. That opens the door to Canada, letting all that Arctic air in. So we're looking at temperatures, once again, 5, 10, 15 degrees below normal for this time of year. To the west, so look at that jet stream lifted to the north. So now we're getting that southerly flow. The warmer air is mixing in, and we're going to be the opposite, 5, 10, 15 degrees above normal for this time of year. Temperatures in the 50s, and we're going to keep it cool tomorrow, guys. It's chilly. I mean, if you're out walking, we're looking at, you can feel that chill, and it feels a little bit chillier once that wind blows.
Does that warm weather ever make it to us?
It seems like it's blocked.
It's stopping.
Right? It's like,
okay.
No, you stay there.
All right, there's a wall. Got it. All right.
It's pretty cold this morning.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Sure.
Coming up, if you're looking to get away for the holidays, Travel Tuesday might be your ticket to your next vacation.
Later this hour, we'll let you know which airlines are serving up discounts and how you can find the best travel deal today.
But up next, Princess Kate back in the spotlight. The Princess of Wales set to take part in one of her biggest appearances since she returned to public duties. Details on that next.
We are back now with a royal return. Princess Kate is resuming her state duties today for the first time since announcing she completed her chemotherapy treatment.
Earlier this morning, the Princess of Wales joined Prince William as they kicked off the Emir of Qatar's 2-day state visit to the UK.
NBC News International correspondent Megan Fitzgerald joins us from Buckingham Palace with the details. Megan, good morning. So walk us through what we saw from Princess Kate and Prince William today.
Guys, good morning. Well, just as the Brits do, we saw a lot of pomp and circumstance this morning, which continues at this hour. We know that the Prince and Princess of Wales met with the Qatari Emir along with his wife, and then they proceeded in a horse-drawn carriage down to Horse Guard Parade for a very grand welcome ceremony. Now, within the next couple of minutes, we are expecting that horse-drawn carriage to come back here at Buckingham Palace. We know that the royal couple, along with the King and the Queen, will be attending a luncheon. The Princess of Wales is also expected to attend this exhibition at the Portrait Gallery, but then we understand that that will sort of be the end of her day here. Again, you know, look, the palace has been very clear that she is eager and wanting to attend as many of these public events as she possibly can, with modifications, given the fact that she is still recovering from the preventative chemotherapy treatments that she underwent throughout the early part of this year, guys.
Yeah, and Megyn, I mean, we know the princess has only made a few public appearances this year: the King's annual birthday parade, the men's final at Wimbledon, the annual Remembrance Day ceremonies. Do we know why she's being asked or choosing to take on a role in this state visit?
Yeah, Joe, you know, I mean, it's a really good question. It's important to keep in mind that, you know, we're talking about the most important and popular member. I shouldn't say important. Obviously, there's the King, but most certainly the most popular senior member of the royal family. Her presence, it really can't be understated at these events. And so it was very important for her to attend if she felt well enough. And so that is what we're seeing today. We saw last month, or earlier this month, rather, at the Veterans Day ceremony, she appeared there in what was her first public official event. So we expect to see the Princess of Wales, and actually as I'm talking, it looks like the carriage should be coming back to the palace as we speak. But we do expect to see more and more of these events by the Princess of Wales as she feels well enough. We're all looking ahead to Christmas, which is, you know, another big event for her. But it has most certainly been a tough year, but we know that the Princess of Wales is going to try and make as many appearances as she possibly can.
Megyn, speaking of tough years, let's talk about another member here, Queen Camilla, and please do let us know if you see the carriage. But Queen Camilla did not attend the welcome ceremony for this state visit today. This is due to a lingering chest infection. It's the latest event she's missed recently, right? What do we know about her condition, and will she be joining any other events during this trip?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as I'm speaking to you, it does appear as though we're seeing the carriages making their way here around the statue to Buckingham Palace, with, again, the pomp and circumstances only the Brits can do. But to your question, you know, Queen Camilla, coming back from that very long and far trip to the South Pacific just a couple of weeks ago, you know, came down with this chest infection. So it caused her to miss out on a lot of these events that were coming in the preceding days. And so she will be attending part of the events that are carrying on today. She was not a part of the welcoming ceremony because the palace said that she had some lingering effects from her chest infection. But we do expect to see her at the luncheon. We do expect to see her at the state banquet today. But according to the palace, doctors are saying that she needs rest as she tries to make a full recovery. Guys.
Megyn Fitzgerald, thank you very much.
Back in the States, the Supreme Court heard arguments Monday over flavored vape products. At issue whether the Food and Drug Administration lawfully rejected the applications of those vape products over public health concerns. Two companies which make flavored liquids for vape pens accused the FDA of unfairly rejecting their applications for new flavors.
The agency's stance is that sweet or fruit-flavored vape liquids pose a, quote, known and substantial risk to youth and ultimately encourage them to smoke. The companies allege that the agency changed its rules for approval during the process without giving adequate warning.
NBC News senior Supreme Court reporter Lawrence Hurley joins us now for more on this. Lawrence, good morning. So we know the FDA has repeatedly declined to approve flavored vapes, arguing that they could pose a health risk, encouraging young people to use tobacco. So yesterday, lawyers for the companies involved argued that flavored vapes can actually help people stop smoking. How'd the court seem to respond to all this?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I think, the court seemed kind of skeptical of these arguments. I think this case is a little different from some cases that we have at the court where they feel like, the justices feel like an agency is kind of pushing beyond the powers that it has. But Congress actually passed a law specifically saying that the FDA can not just regulate nicotine products, but with a special emphasis on any products that might encourage children to take up using these products. So the idea that these flavored vapes that have all these kind of colorful flavors, kind of fruity and sweet flavors, appealing to older people who want to give up smoking, just didn't really seem to resonate with the justices, and also is, within the powers of the FDA to regulate. So in that sense, a key figure on the court could be Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who's one of the conservatives in the majority, who's often quite skeptical of federal agencies, but he didn't seem to buy these arguments at all yesterday. So if there are, enough justices to take his position, then the FDA will probably win this case.
The FDA has faced quite a few legal challenges from vape makers across the U.S. over its decisions. We know that these vape manufacturers favor this type of legal action. They often have lobbyists and things working for them. But the agency has actually won most of them. So what is different about this one that made it end up at the Supreme Court?
Yeah, so in this case, as you mentioned, like all these challenges brought by other manufacturers have basically failed. But there was this one court, the New Orleans-based Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which, as some people might know, is considered to be one of the most conservative courts, appeals courts in the country, with quite a lot of appointees from former and future President Trump. And it was one of his appointees that wrote this ruling that faulted the FDA, saying that it had changed the rules of the road in the middle of the process without giving fair notice to the companies. So the FDA then appealed up to the Supreme Court. So it's the agency that's actually asking the court to overturn that decision that would kind of put the law back in line with what the other courts have done.
Lawrence, you mentioned this court with its 6-3 conservative majority has been skeptical of the regulatory power of federal agencies. You kind of mentioned how this case fits into that, how it seems to be a little different. But on top of that, I mean, how could the incoming Trump administration impact the FDA's approval process when it comes to something like vapes?
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, this actually came up during the argument where the lawyer for the companies mentioned the fact that the Trump administration could change its position on this. And he mentioned some comments that President-elect Trump made about how he was going to save the vape industry. And so there is, I mean, of course, there's some very high-profile appointments being made, not just to the FDA, but to the agency that oversees it, which is going to be led by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. if he gets confirmed. So there's going to be a lot of upheaval in that part of the federal government. And so it is possible that the government would change position. And that's also why Brett Kavanaugh, Justice Kavanaugh, was one of the justices pointing out that, like, what's the big deal here? Because if your application gets denied, you can always go back and ask again. And if the government's position changes, then they might win next time.
All right. Lawrence, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Coming up, the holiday season is a time for friends and family to get together. It's also a good time, though, to find some time for yourself.
Next, in our mental health check-in, we're going to explain why it's important to prioritize a little you time this time of year. You're watching Morning News Now.
Welcome back. The arrival of a newborn is a time of joy for many families, but for a growing number of Americans, it's driving them into debt. With rising out-of-pocket costs for people with insurance, more parents are accumulating medical debt for simply starting a family.
NBC's Maggie Vespa, in partnership with the USC Center for Health Journalism, spoke with one family that racked up tens of thousands of dollars in debt when their twins were born.
Why do you have a spoon?
At nearly 2, Jessica Hurley's twin boys are as old as the debt that accompanied their births. The Springfield, Illinois toddlers arrived 2 months early, Kinzer naturally and Perry via emergency C-section, only to begin a harrowing weeks-long stay in the neonatal intensive care unit.
They were hooked up to machines, and multiple times they would turn blue in my arms and their hearts were essentially stopping.
So your babies are in the NICU. You're dealing with this trauma, and then you start getting the bills.
Then they just kept coming. He's about to drive up.
A dental hygienist and career laborer, Jessica and her husband Jimmy have insurance through his union.
These are all your bills?
Yes.
This one's for $5,200. This one's for $2,200.
Go sit at your table, guys.
But their plan caps out-of-pocket costs at $28,500 per calendar year. The twins were born in late December, resetting that cap on January 1st and leaving the couple on the hook to meet it twice. Their account balance topping $80,000 after insurance.
I do find that this comes as a surprise for patients.
Dr. Nora Becker, a health economist with the University of Michigan, says the Hurleys, who have 4 children total, were swept into a growing trend among middle-class American families who make too much money to qualify for Medicaid, relying on private, often employer-provided insurance with increasingly high deductibles. And while most Americans with insurance through their jobs pay around $3,600 out of pocket for childbirth-related costs, data analyzed by the Healthcare Cost Institute shows for about a quarter of those Americans, childbirth costs $5,000 or more.
This is how private health insurance works for everybody. It's just that low and middle income families are the ones who bear the brunt of it.
Her advice to families expecting: check your plan beforehand and consider switching to options with lower deductibles, even if the monthly premium is higher. And if you get hit with big bills, don't ignore them. Negotiate. Jessica did, and nearly 2 years later managed to whittle her family's debt down to roughly $11,500, more than a quarter of which they've paid.
And a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush.
The remaining debt prompting Jessica to avoid seeking treatment for postpartum depression, fearing more bills.
Financially, it's ruined us. And all that happened to me was I had babies. Izzy, go inside.
The cost of living hitting this family hard right from the start. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Springfield, Illinois.
Time now for our weekly mental health check-in. It's Giving Tuesday, so we're looking at why helping others could boost your happiness levels.
Yeah, plus with the holiday season in full swing, we've got new research on the benefits of alone time.
Joining us now for more on these mental health headlines is psychotherapist Dr. Robbie Ludwig. Good to have you with us, Dr. Robbie. Happy Giving Tuesday. I mean, research has consistently shown helping others can be good for your mental health. Our email boxes are flooded this morning with all of those messages from various organizations maybe we've had contact with over the years. It does kind of give you a boost to think how you can help them. Why do we feel so good about that? And what are some of the ways people can give back today?
The studies are really consistent that when we give of ourselves in a charitable way, we feel less depressed, we feel less pain. It impacts that part of our brain that just helps us to feel better and more connected. And now is a really good time to think about, what do you feel passionate about? What is important to you? And how would you like to be a part of a community that makes other people's lives better? You can think of it in terms of that, or you can think of it in terms of the people in your life who you'd like to spend more time with and appreciate more. But it's a great time to think about how can we serve, and it also not only helps others, but it really helps ourselves. We can give blood, we can donate to nonprofit and community organizations, pay it forward, and it's a good reminder to always give kindness.
It is such a good reminder, especially after we've spent so much money on Cyber Monday and Black Friday, just buying things sometimes that we don't even need. To give back is a good idea. Okay, let's look at this. This is an interesting one. It's a new documentary. It's dealing with postpartum depression and psychosis, but it's comparing it to how witches have been represented throughout history. It's striking a chord with a lot of people, getting a lot of buzz, as these conditions can still be poorly understood. Walk us through this.
I loved it. The person who created this film suffered from postpartum depression and made the connection, looked historically at witches. And many of the witches were just suffering, or people who were considered witches were considered, actually suffered from mental illness or epilepsy. And their medical illnesses were not understood and therefore demonized. And the truth is, we still have a lot of expectations surrounded around motherhood, and we like to connect it to this perfect imagery for our own psychological needs. And so it's very important to stop and remember, when we don't understand an illness, to not demonize it. That's what made getting mental health services so difficult historically. It was connected to an inner demon. That was the thought process. And to look at it medically and not to ostracize somebody who is different or struggling.
Good advice there. All right. Finally, if you need some alone time during this holiday season, you're not alone. An Ohio State University survey found out 56% of Americans say that it is vital to their mental health having that alone time. Talk about the benefits of taking time for yourself.
It certainly is. So this is when we choose alone time. It really allows our brain and our mind to reboot, to really plug into ourselves and to think about what's important to us. What do we need? What do we want? How can we set boundaries? It also allows us to get in touch with our inner creativity and reduces stress and anxiety that sometimes can happen when we're in the presence of others. So it allows us just to be with ourselves, understand ourselves, and it's a very important aspect to feeling healthy and emotionally regulated.
Dr. Robbie Ludwig, some great advice as always. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Happy Tuesday, guys.
Yeah, happy Tuesday. Speaking of which, it's not just Giving Tuesday today, Travel Tuesday. So if you're looking to book your next trip, a great deal could just be a click away.
Yeah, when we come back, Clint Henderson of The Points Guy will join us and share tips on how to get the most bang for your buck on your next vacation. Stay with us. We're back now with a look at one of the best days of the year to find some discounts on those high travel prices.
Cyber Monday might be over, but today is Travel Tuesday,
Keeps
and
coming.
several airlines are offering big deals on round-trip tickets for 2025. You can also find hotel discounts, cruise tickets, and bundled vacation packages.
We have managing editor at The Points Guy, Clint Henderson, here to help us find some of the best deals today. Good morning. We always love when you come by.
Yes, I love it. Travel Tuesday.
Happy Travel Tuesday. Happy Giving Tuesday. Okay,
Yes.
So let's talk about what some of these deals are, because I understand a dozen or so airlines have deals today. What should we look out for?
Yeah, I've been updating the list every day, and Travel Tuesday used to be pretty much a marketing gimmick. Now it's a real thing. So we're seeing really substantial deals. American Airlines has under $100 flights. You can fly to Los Angeles for $124. Alaska Airlines, $39 one-way fares. Delta, you can see there, Atlanta to Boston, $197. Florida to New York, $117. Lots of Hawaii sales. So Maui was super expensive, but we're really encouraging people to go back there, support the community. Under $300 flights from the West Coast. And we're seeing from the East Coast to Hawaii under $500 today.
That's great. So are there things you need to do to make sure you have access to these deals so that it's easy to get in there and find them and book them?
So I always recommend if there's an airline that you love, sign up for their newsletter. Obviously, The Points Guy, we cover this stuff every day. We have a newsletter that has recaps of some of these deals. But you want to follow the airline, the hotel program that you love, because they'll give you first notice of sales like Travel Tuesday.
All right. And we see a list of them right there, especially when it comes to some of the hotel deals.
Yeah, so 25% off for hotels is not bad. And that goes through much of the year. So if you are planning a trip, even like spring break, now is really the time to at least look and see what's out there, because if you see a deal, grab it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have your loyalty programs, does this get better for you? Does it sweeten the deal? Should you join one today?
You should join, because a lot of times you'll need to be a member of the loyalty program to have access to the best deals.
Okay.
So you'll see this sometimes with Frontier or some of the other airlines. They want you to have a membership. But remember now, these loyalty programs, they also give you free Wi-Fi on planes, free Wi-Fi at hotels. So there's reasons outside of just deals to join the loyalty program.
It is Giving Tuesday. It's that time of year where we give. So what if you want to gift your miles or your hotel points to someone? Are there like bonuses for that?
There's not bonuses. In fact, it's usually a bad deal. What I recommend instead, and we recommend at The Points Guy, is buy a gift card for a hotel or an airline instead of trying to book a flight or transfer your points, because usually you're going to have to pay a fee. And most people aren't going to know how to best redeem those points and miles. So you're better off like gift cards, things like that.
And save it all for yourself.
That's what I do.
so that you could go on a lovely trip next year.
You can like print a boarding pass like with a destination and say this boarding pass is good for one trip too.
There you go.
Whatever it is.
Make it cute. Yeah. All right. Clint Henderson, thank you for joining us. Happy Travel Tuesday. Happy holidays. Good to see you.
You too. Good to see you.
Sticking with money headlines, General Motors is pulling out of a joint multi-billion-dollar EV factory venture.
CNBC's Savannah now has that another money headlines for us. Savannah, good morning.
Hey, Savannah. Hey, Joe. Good morning to you. Yeah, so General Motors is pulling out of a nearly completed electric vehicle battery plant in Michigan, selling its stake to its Korean partner, LG Energy Solutions. The $2.6 billion factory, which is the size of about 30 football fields, was announced in 2022. That's when GM aimed to produce 1 million EVs by 2025, but it's pushed back that target because of weaker demand industry-wide for fully electric cars. GM has 2 other battery plants in Ohio and Tennessee that it says can meet its current needs. SpaceX is in talks to sell shares from employees and early investors that could boost the value of Elon Musk's rocket and satellite company to about $350 billion. Bloomberg reports that's a major increase from a previously discussed valuation of $255 billion just last month. It would also cement SpaceX's status as the world's most valuable startup company. And consumers were clicking and spending on Cyber Monday. Adobe Analytics estimates shoppers spent up to $13.5 billion yesterday, making it the biggest online shopping day ever. That would top the record reached just a few days ago on Black Friday, when people spent $10.8 billion online. Peak online spending was expected between 8 and 10 p.m. Eastern, with Adobe predicting consumers would spend nearly $16 million per minute, guys. I know I couldn't pass up a couple of deals, especially I got a sofa for my dogs. I mean, it was a really good deal.
That so tracks, Silvana.
Most people, their sofa is for their dogs, so there you go.
I had to do it.
Yeah, my dog's not allowed on ours, so I like that idea.
Thanks, Silvana.
They get their own.
It.
Coming up, it's more than a year since wildfires devastated the state of Hawaii, destroying thousands of homes.
Now there is a sign of rebuilding and recovery as the first home is rebuilt. We're going to tell you how the community is coming together and looking to the future. Welcome back. A passionate runner is going viral, not for breaking any running records, but for his art, a video he made using nothing but his feet and GPS. You got to see it here to truly appreciate it. To make this video, Duncan McCabe used Strava's GPS tracking app, which allows him to record his routes. It took 120 runs, all strung together to create this viral TikTok of a dancing stick figure. The video is only about 30 seconds long. The process was demanding. McCabe says each run spans 6 miles or more. Again, 120 of those runs. Well, he's not the first to create art while running. The motion he adds to his pieces has become a hit online with more than 25 million views on his X account alone.
That's so cool.
Dedication. That's I think beyond a marathon.
No, look at this.
Marathon.
I know. It's the creativity, and I'm sure it obviously is serious attention to detail is impressive, not to mention the running. Very cool.
I feel like I'd take a wrong turn somewhere.
For sure. And you'd mess the whole thing up. Yeah. It doesn't seem like you can undo it. Yeah. All right, Joe, thank you. Finally, this hour, a Hawaiian homecoming just in time for the holidays. Last year, of course, you remember thousands of homes were destroyed during the deadly wildfire in Lahaina. Well, now the first home has officially been rebuilt. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky spoke to the family about what this means for the town's future.
On an island where heritage runs deep, the town of Lahaina is out to prove a painful past does not define its future.
Everything was perfect.
Which is why for the Ahi family of 4,
we got a bathroom with a crying baby.
This home tour is historic.
And then we've got 3 bedrooms right now.
A 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom miracle rising from the ashes after one of Maui's darkest days.
You don't appreciate it until you lose it, you know.
We worked really, really hard for that house. And it's hard to see your hard work gone.
Mau and Ariel Ahi's dream home, one of the more than 2,000 lost to a fire, forcing many to leave for good, as Lahaina figured out how to reclaim their paradise.
There's so many people that need help that I'm just trying to do what I can.
Derek Montalvo helping the Ahis fast-track building on a bigger, better home.
I can't believe it. We're just grateful and so blessed.
Lahaina's very first home back, receiving a Hawaiian blessing all its own, with more than 100 other homes following their lead.
We look at this home as like a hoku pa'a, as a North Star.
I just want the kids to experience what I grew up with, the ocean, the rivers, you know, family. This is the home.
Morgan Chesky, NBC News.
Great to see. And just a moment ago, Clint Henderson told us about the importance of revisiting there, getting the tourism back going in Hawaii.
Yeah, Travel Tuesday. That's a good one to look at.
That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Don't go anywhere, though. The news continues right now. Good morning. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday. I'm Savannah Sellers.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, snowed in. The Great Lakes hammered by another round of lake effect snow, causing a major mess. The blast making already dangerous driving conditions even worse, leaving others trapped in their homes. Some areas already seeing more than 5 feet of snow. And it's not over yet. Michelle Grossman is tracking a new system that could bring even more snow to the region. Also this morning, back in the spotlight, nearly 30 years after her murder shocked the country, there is renewed interest in the JonBenet Ramsey case. The new Netflix documentary re-examining the evidence and what police are now saying about their search for her killer. Plus, bipartisan backlash. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle blasting President Biden's decision to pardon his son. What NBC News has learned about how long the controversial pardon may have been in the works. And it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, with just over 24 hours until the lighting of the world's most famous Christmas tree. We're getting an inside look at the major holiday makeover happening right here at 30 Rock.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Step by step, every little corner of the place
Gosh,
getting
those
ready
angels
for the holidays.
right out in the gardens. It's fabulous.
All right, do you know what else is looking a lot like Christmas?
Yeah.
Parts of the Northeast. We're going to begin with the relentless lake effect snow hammering the Northeast and the Great Lakes. Some areas seeing more than 5 feet and counting, trapping cars on roads and people in their homes since Friday.
Yeah, the snow continues to fall this morning, and now forecasters say another powerful winter storm is poised to hit the area. All of this with the official start of winter still being a few weeks away. We have NBC News meteorologist Michelle Grossman standing by with details on when this second system is expected to hit. But first, let's go to NBC News correspondent Erin McLaughlin. She's in Erie, Pennsylvania, and has the very latest. Erin, good morning.
Folks in this part of the country are used to a lot of snow, but even they were caught off guard by the shocking amount that fell seemingly overnight. And now there's piles of snow like this across the region, and there's more snow on the way. This morning, another round of heavy snow blanketing the Great Lakes region and beyond, as foot after foot of powder and dangerous ice roared quickly and unexpectedly.
Started sometime on Friday morning, and it hasn't really stopped.
This latest blast of lake effect snow creating treacherous driving conditions. At least one person is in critical condition in Michigan after multiple crashes shut down a stretch of I-94. Views from above show the extent of the damage and delays. Semi-trucks and cars stopped in their tracks.
The snow being so deep and getting stuck, like you getting stuck everywhere you go, everybody getting stuck. So like that's the worst part.
Here in Pennsylvania, thousands of people have been stuck inside their homes, and this is the reason why all of that snow fell in a matter of days. Among them, lifelong local Kimberly Stoller, who says she was surviving on Thanksgiving leftovers.
We're used to snow, having a lot of it to deal with. This is definitely a new experience for me.
This is the first time you've ever been snowed in, and you're from this area.
Yes, ma'am.
Crews shoveling snow and clearing walkways to help those in need, including a Navy veteran who relies on oxygen tanks to breathe. How many folks need this kind of help?
I mean, you've got hundreds. I mean, we don't even know the magnitude. There's a lot of folks that'll quietly suffer.
Some communities grappling with more than 5 feet of snow and counting. In Massachusetts, hundreds of cold, stunned sea turtles washed ashore. The sea creatures receiving life-saving care at the New England Aquarium, where they're gradually warmed up. With colder temperatures in the Northeast and in the Midwest, experts are predicting heating bills to go up 10% compared with last year, and they're advising lower-income households to apply for state grants to help partially pay for those bills. The Department of Energy is recommending folks set their thermostats to 68 to 70 degrees during the day and even lower at night or when they're away from home. Back to you.
All right, Erin, stay warm. Thank you so much for being out there.
We mentioned there's more to come. Let's take a look now at all this wintry weather with your Morning News Now weather.
Yeah, Michelle Grossman joins us. She's back this hour. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hey there, guys. And we can see feet of snow additionally on top of what they've already seen. So the snow is falling at this hour. This is what it looks like on radar. And we're seeing it through Michigan, along Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. And then we're going to see it eventually moving into the interior parts of the Northeast and also New England. 6 million people waking up to and walking out the door to weather alerts, winter weather alerts alerts this morning, lake effect snow warnings, also winter storm watches, winter storm warnings, because we will see accumulating snow once again today and also tomorrow. This is what it looks like today. We still have those cold winds going over those warmer waters. This will not shut off. The lake effect snow machine will not shut off until we see those winds shift or those lakes freeze over. So the freezing the lakes will take a much longer time. And then we have a clipper system that's going to bring in new snow into the upper Midwest and lots of it in some spots. Tomorrow, the snow moving to the interior parts in the Northeast, also New England. The higher elevations of New England will see accumulating snow. And then this snow will also be enhanced. So the bands along the lakes will be enhanced as we go throughout Wednesday. Thursday, we're still seeing that snow falling. It's slick throughout much of New England on Thursday. That's going to be a tough day to travel. Also really windy and really cold, and a cold rain likely near the coast. And that extends down to portions of the Northeast as well. So we're looking at additional snowfall where you see the pinks and purples. That's where we're expecting the highest amounts of snow. That's for the UP and Michigan, along the lakes once again, in the higher elevations of Vermont, New Hampshire, and also through Maine. Now, that's one story. The second story, this is interesting. We've been so cold. Aaron made a really good point about the heater starting earlier. Felt like we kept those air conditioners on longer throughout late summer into early fall. Now we're cranking the heat. And that's because we're looking at temperatures still well below normal for this time of year, 5, even 15 degrees below what is typical for this time of year. So 30s and 40s topping out throughout most of the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, into the Tennessee Valley, even the parts of the Southeast. We are chilly. It's warm, though, to the west. We're looking at temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal for this time of year. Keeping it cold once again tomorrow, New York City, 41, 6 degrees below normal. Augusta, 53. Wilmington, we're looking at 50. In Jacksonville, just 61 degrees. Then as we go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday into the beginning of the weekend, we're going to be even colder Friday and Saturday in New York City, just above freezing to top out there on Friday, 34, 37, into the 40s in Knoxville. And we're looking at 60s and 40s by Friday in Wilmington, North Carolina, just 46 degrees. Let's talk about tomorrow, because this is so exciting in New York City. We're looking at temperatures 40 degrees. It will be cold. You need to bundle up, wear lots of layers, and it's going to be a little windy too. So it's going to make it feel more like the mid-30s, certainly feeling like Christmas around here, and that weather will kind of set the stage for that Christmas feeling. We could see a few showers as well, so it's going to be like a cold showers, and it's not going to be the best weather, but it will still be very festive, and you just need to wear the gloves and the layers and the scarf and the coats. So otherwise, we're relatively quiet as we look precipitation-wise across the country. We're looking at mild Rockies. We're looking at the Southwest. We're dry in the Pacific Northwest. The only spot that could see some really heavy rain would be extreme southern Texas. Places like Brownsville, Texas could see some showers, some thunderstorms, once again like they saw yesterday. And then just a peek towards the weekend, we're looking at Friday, still relatively quiet, but we're looking at chilly conditions. Notice those lakes, though. We're not seeing all that snow. Still could see a little snow along Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, but it looks like it won't be quite as robust as what we've seen. Soggy in portions of the south central states, and then notice the Pacific Northwest. They got a little break from all that weather, but we will see a new system moving onshore, and that's going to bring wet weather. New England to the mid-Atlantic to the southeast, we are dry, but we still will be cool on Friday. And then Saturday, heavy rain throughout the south central states into the Mississippi Valley. You notice those darker colors there. That's where we could see some heavy rain, especially with those darker colors, and the snow returns to portions of the New England area, also the Great Lakes. Still unsettled Saturday in the Pacific Northwest.
You talk about the Christmas tree. You have to wear the boots because you're standing on the ice rink.
Is that so true? Yes.
So,
and you need to put those little heaters in there.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Very true. Yeah.
So.
Good point.
It's a cold night out there, but it's fun. Thanks,
so
Michelle.
fun. Sure.
Let's turn now to the growing fallout over President Biden's controversial pardon of his son, Hunter. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are criticizing the last-minute reversal after the president repeatedly said he would not use his executive authority to help his son. NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has the latest.
Joe and Savannah, good morning. In justifying his pardon, President Biden went further than just expressing a father's love. He also slammed federal prosecutors. Here at the White House, the First Lady said, of course, she supports the pardon. But more and more Democrats are now expressing disappointment with the decision.
This morning, while President Biden is on a 3-day trip to Africa, the firestorm over his full and unconditional pardon of his son is growing, even among some Democrats.
And as a member of Congress, I'm pretty angry because it's going to be incredibly important that political leaders of both parties stand up for the independence of the Department of Justice.
It is discouraging that he has now gone back on his word on that.
For months, the president and his team had repeatedly insisted Hunter Biden would not be pardoned.
And I will not pardon him. We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
But NBC News has learned he had discussed it with some of his closest aides, at least since his son's conviction in June. That's according to two people with direct knowledge of the discussions. They also said it was decided at the time that the president would publicly say he would not pardon his son, even though doing so remained on the table.
The White House now denying that reporting, reiterating the decision was made this past weekend.
If it was my son, I'd pardon him too. But here's what I didn't like. Don't lie to us. Don't tell us you're not going to do it and then do it.
The president writing that he believes in the justice system, but also believes raw politics infected this process. The blanket pardon covers not only Hunter Biden's felony convictions on firearms charges and tax evasion, but also includes any offenses dating back to January 2014, months before he joined the board of a Ukrainian energy company, while his father was vice president.
Joe Biden, for 50 years in public office, has always pridefully boasted about his word as a Biden. And I guess we now know that his word as a Biden is trash.
While Republicans slammed it, Independent Senator Joe Manchin said as a father he would have done the same. But he suggested another pardon.
What I would have done differently, and my recommendation as a counsel would have been, why don't you go ahead and pardon Donald Trump for all his charges and make it, it had gone down a lot more balanced.
There are also new questions about the timing of the pardon. Just days ago, with the sentencing dates looming, Hunter Biden's defense team released a lengthy document outlining why they thought this amounted to a political persecution. The language in that document mirrored some of what President Biden said justifying the pardon. We asked the White House whether the president had seen the document or been briefed on it. We have not heard back. Joe and Savannah.
All right, Gabe, thank you.
Two of President-elect Trump's picks for his incoming administration were making the rounds on Capitol Hill yesterday. Mr. Trump's choice for Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and his selection for Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, met with Republican senators. It's all part of an effort to shore up support for their nominations. NBC's Garrett Hake has the latest.
Hey, Savannah, Joe, good morning. It's a big week for these Trump selections on Capitol Hill, and their fate really varies by nominee right now. Pam Bondi, for instance, the former Florida AG, now up for the top job at the Justice Department, had several meetings yesterday with Republican senators and seems fairly likely to have a fairly easy path to confirmation. Now, remember, she replaced Matt Gaetz, who pulled out of the confirmation process a few weeks ago. Her simple lack of any serious scandal helps her. That's probably not the case for Pete Hegseth, Trump's selection for Secretary of Defense. He met with conservative senators yesterday who were singing his praises, but the steady drip of reports about personal issues around him related to things like drinking or mismanagement of funds at previous jobs, alleged mistreatment of women, some of which he's denied, means he's still got a lot of tough questions he's going to have to answer to lock down Republican support. He'll be back on the Hill today for more of those meetings. Then for the president-elect, this is a big weekend coming up. After having rarely left South Florida since the election, he's headed to Paris, France, to take in the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral, which was ravaged by fire, you'll remember, 5 years ago, undergone extensive repairs. The president-elect attending at the invitation of France's President Emmanuel Macron. He'll be one of dozens of world leaders there, really his first big moment back on the world stage. Savannah, Joe.
All right, Garrett, thank you so much.
We turn now to breaking news overnight in the Middle East, where Israel and Hezbollah traded new attacks, stoking concerns that the ceasefire put in place nearly 1 week ago could already be unraveling. There are also new demands for the release of American hostages taken in the October 7th attack by Hamas. NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley joins us now from Lebanon's capital with more on all this. Matt, good morning.
Well, good morning, guys. That peace here in Lebanon, it's hanging on by a thread. Israel's defense minister warned today that if the nearly week-long truce is broken, Israel will punish all of Lebanon, not just Hezbollah. And that comes as President-elect Donald Trump threatened to take action on those hostages who still remain in the Gaza Strip. Today, fresh fighting threatening a fragile peace. Israel launching its largest salvo of missiles at targets in Lebanon since a U.S.-brokered ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel went into effect last week. The strikes killing at least 11, according to Lebanon's health ministry. Israel calling it a response to Hezbollah firing rockets into disputed territory between the two countries. But the Biden administration insists the deal is holding despite the violence.
We are not seeing the just daily loss of life that we had seen for 2 months prior.
But there's now an unpredictable new element in Middle East diplomacy. President-elect Trump weighing in on the hostages held by Hamas in the Gaza Strip, threatening on social media that if the hostages aren't released by the time he takes office, there will be all hell to pay in the Middle East, adding that those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America. Trump didn't specify what he intends to do to free hostages held for more than a year.
My name is Adi Alexander.
But for American families of hostages in Gaza, Trump's rhetoric is a welcome change of tone. What is a comment like that? How does that land with you?
I think it means what it says, and it needs to happen as soon as possible within the term of President Biden.
Adi Alexander's son, Idan, was last seen Saturday in a Hamas propaganda video in which he begged President-elect Trump to negotiate a hostage deal. How do you get by day to day?
Just keep fighting for our son. As we know he's strong. He asked us to be strong on this video, and we will be strong for him.
And over the weekend, some more terrible news about another young Israeli American. The IDF announced that Omer Nutra died on October 7th. Until this news, his family and Israel's military had thought that he was being held hostage in the Gaza Strip and that he was still alive. Joe, Savannah?
All right, Matt, thank you. We've got a lot more to get to this morning, including a shocking announcement from Elton John, what the pop icon is saying about a recent eye infection and the impact it could have on his ability to make music.
But first, a new documentary is sparking a renewed interest in one of America's most infamous unsolved murders. What police are now saying about the JonBenet Ramsey case nearly 30 years after her death. Welcome back. One of the most notorious unsolved murders in American history, the 1996 killing of JonBenet Ramsey, is once again making headlines. And like the Menendez brothers story, you can credit streaming giant Netflix. 28 years after the 6-year-old's death, the new docuseries is taking a fresh look at the evidence, and that is renewing hope the case could be solved. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz joins us now with the latest on this. Liz, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. Yeah, just like the Menendez brothers case, this new Netflix docuseries is driving a wave of interest in the mystery. Now, the Boulder police chief won't say if they have new leads, but in a new update, he does admit that things could have been done better, and he hopes the renewed attention will generate more tips from the public after nearly 28 years.
We were kidnapping.
The brutal murder of 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey in her home on Christmas night in 1996, shocking the nation and fueling a frenzy of media coverage that would last for years.
It was a case that people couldn't stop talking about.
As a new Netflix docuseries contends, problems with the investigation appeared early on.
Why was the Ramsey house not sealed off as a crime scene until several hours after the kidnapping was reported?
The decades-old case now striking a chord with a new generation on social media and a new push to pursue the case nearly 30 years later. In the late 90s, suspicion and unusual theories of the case focused on the Ramseys, her parents, John and Patsy, and brother Burke.
A bedwetting or a toileting issue
that caused Patsy to get mad at her daughter.
Absolutely.
No one has ever been charged in the case. Patsy Ramsey passed away from cancer in 2006. 2 years later, the Boulder district attorney cleared the family, pointing to DNA evidence. Now 80, John Ramsey recently telling Savannah he's never going to give up searching for the killer.
You still have hope that this can be solved?
I believe it can be solved if the police accept help from outside their system.
Boulder's current police chief says the department has been working for years with other law enforcement agencies and outside experts, including recent efforts by the Colorado Cold Case Review Team.
Those files include more than 21,000 tips, over 1,000 interviews, which were conducted across 17 states and 2 foreign countries.
Documentarian Joe Berlinger says he believes police could be doing more.
Certain items that were sent to the crime lab that were never tested should be tested.
Boulder PD writing, the assertion that there is viable evidence and leads we are not pursuing to include DNA testing is completely false. The haunting case frustrating investigators and a family still seeking closure after nearly 3 decades.
Now, over the years, several persons of interest have come up, including John Mark Carr, who was arrested in 2006 after making what police say was a false confession. He and others were ruled out in part because their DNA didn't match. But some who followed the case from the start say the tainted crime scene makes it impossible to really rule anyone out. Joe.
All right. Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it.
Let's turn now to the latest on a scandal that has rocked the retail fashion world. Former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries, his romantic partner Matt Smith, and a third man, James Jacobson, were arrested back in October on sex trafficking and interstate prostitution charges. Jeffries and Jacobson pleaded not guilty. Smith, though, has remained in custody since the arrest and is set to be arraigned in federal court in New York later today.
The indictment alleges the trio operated so-called sex events from 2008 to 2015, where young men were coerced into sexual acts, believing that not complying would ruin their careers.
Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas for more on this. Danny, good morning. So what can we expect from today's arraignment of Matt Smith?
Not a great deal. Arraignments are not exciting events in federal criminal procedure. It's the basics, but after that, it essentially kickstarts off the beginning of a federal case, and a number of different timelines and clocks start, including the speedy trial. Although in complex cases, and this could certainly qualify, that time is usually extended. On the whole, though, when in federal court, you can expect your case to move to trial a lot faster than it would in state court.
Let's break down the charges a little bit. All three have been charged with a single count of sex trafficking, 15 counts of interstate prostitution tied to 15 alleged victims. Those are serious charges. Of course, you can't help but think about the alleged victims. Just tell us where the case does go from here, how long something like this could take.
Right. There are a couple different overlapping federal statutes involved, including statutes that criminalize transporting people across state lines, usually for prostitution purposes, and then, of course, one of the statutes requires force, fraud, or coercion. That's why you see allegations like they were promised this would help them in the business. Their cell phones were taken from them while they were at these alleged sex parties. Those go towards the coercion element or the fraud element, which isn't always just physical brute force. It can be something like this, like telling people, you better do this or I'll ruin your life in the business. And we've seen these similar charges in cases like Sean Diddy Combs and other notable infamous prosecutions.
You mentioned other cases. It feels like we've heard about quite a few against powerful people recently with similar charges. And in this case, some of these alleged events took place like a decade ago, more than a decade ago. Do you think that as we hear more about some of these high-profile cases, it empowers others to come out?
It does, especially in the context of one recurring theme that you see over and over again. You have a person with tremendous power, tremendous influence, and someone that people would likely be afraid of blowing the whistle on. That could be someone like a Harvey Weinstein. Even it could be a Bill Cosby, and it could be somebody like the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. Certainly to would-be aspiring models who want to make it in the business. So you see that recurring theme, and what the federal government has done is looked at that as potentially being that force, fraud, and coercion that is a necessary element of sex trafficking crimes.
Danny Savalas, thank you so much.
International news now. Germany is pledging to send hundreds of millions of dollars worth of military aid to Ukraine.
NBC News international correspondent Claudia Labongo has those details and some other world headlines for us. Claudia, good morning.
Savannah, Joe, good morning. Well, that's right. During his visit to Kyiv on Monday, the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has announced new military aid and has also pledged to stand by Ukraine in its fight against Russia for as long as it takes. Now, the Germany pledged to deliver military equipment worth almost $700 million, including air defense systems, tanks, and armed drones. Scholz's visit to Kyiv comes weeks after his coalition government collapsed, threatening his future as Chancellor, and comes at a time of uncertainty for the Western allies' commitment to Ukraine ahead of Trump's return to the White House. Let's now go to New Zealand, where 3 climbers from the US and Canada are missing after they tried to climb the country's highest mountain. On Saturday, 2 men from Colorado and California and a Canadian citizen started their climb to the 12,000-foot peak of Mount Cook. When on Monday they failed to return, they were reported missing. Search and rescue teams say they have so far found only several climbing-related items believed to belong to the men, but still no sign of them. Let's end this tour of the world in Hong Kong, where from Saturday, residents and visitors will be greeted by thousands of panda sculptures. Now, this new craze was triggered by the arrival of 2 panda cubs who were recently born in a local theme park. Many of these sculptures were showcased at Hong Kong's international airport, but they're also dotted around the city in popular areas. Now, pandas are considered China's unofficial national mascot and have long been used as a tool for soft power diplomacy, and there is nothing softer than a panda.
There we go. It's what we can all agree on. It brings us all together. Claudio, thank you.
Very cute.
Cyber Monday might be over, but that doesn't mean the deals are done.
After the break, we're digging into bargain buys that could mean big savings for your next vacation. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Emotions were running high in a South Carolina courtroom yesterday. A drunk driver who killed a bride on her wedding night was sentenced to 25 years in jail. NBC's Priya Sridhar has more from Charleston.
27-year-old Jamie Lee Komorowski sentenced to 25 years behind bars for killing 34-year-old Samantha Miller just hours after she got married in April 2023. Komorowski addressing the judge before the sentencing.
And that I take full responsibility for my actions. Hopefully one day you will be able to forgive me.
Prosecutors say Komorowski was bar hopping in Folly Beach, 30 minutes from downtown Charleston, when she got behind the wheel and plowed into a golf cart carrying Miller, her groom Eric Hutchinson, and 2 other family members who were driving the newlyweds to their rental after their wedding reception.
We've been sentenced to a lifetime of pain.
Prosecutors say Komorowski's blood alcohol was 3 times over the legal limit, and she was driving 65 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone.
Said died that night, so she didn't have to go alone.
Miller's groom, Eric Hutchinson, broke both his legs and multiple bones in his face and sustained serious brain injuries. Miller's family speaking to Komorowski.
For the rest of my life, I'm gonna hate you. And when I arrive in hell and you come there, I'll open the door for you.
The judge sentenced Komorowski to 10 to 25 years for each of the charges she faced, but she's letting them serve them concurrently.
Priya, thank you so much.
It's heartbreaking. Time now for some financial news. Elon Musk's bid for a massive second pay package is a bust.
CNBC's Savannah now has more on the Tesla CEO, plus some other dollar sign headlines. Savannah, good morning.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Savannah. Good morning to you. Yes, so Elon Musk, Elon Musk's $56 billion pay package from Tesla has been struck down again. A judge in Delaware upholding a previous decision to block the compensation plan over concerns about conflicts of interest after it was approved by Tesla's board in 2018. Now, Tesla held a shareholder vote this summer in hopes of reversing the judge's decision. Investors overwhelmingly voted in favor, but that ultimately just wasn't enough. The judge also granting nearly $350 million to the lawyers who represented shareholders who sued over the plan. Musk is expected to appeal. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump renewing his vow to block Nippon Steel's planned takeover of U.S. Steel when he returns to the White House. In a post on Truth Social, Trump says he will make U.S. Steel strong and great again through tax incentives and tariffs. U.S. regulators are reviewing the deal worth more than $14 billion to see whether it poses a threat to national security. And get this. Porch pirates are stealing so many packages now that you can get insurance to protect against those losses. The Wall Street Journal reports Porch Pals is a subscription-based startup that launched this week. It says it will cover the cost of your stolen packages up to $2,000 or 3 claims a year. The service will cost $120 a year, and Porch Pals says it doesn't charge a deductible and pays out all claims within 72 hours, guys.
Ay. Sign of the times.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
Something like that. All right, Silvana, thank you so much.
All right, so if travel is on your holiday shopping list, because that won't get stolen by porch pirates, but you didn't score any deals on Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Well, you could be in luck. Today is known as Travel Tuesday, a great day to grab some bargains on your next getaway.
NBC senior business correspondent Christine Romans is here with some strategies to get your deals going and check those out. Good to have you with us. So like most people, you start looking at the airfare, right? So what are we finding buy anything when it comes to flying.
There are some great deals today, and you should look, if you are a frequent flyer, look at your app because new deals are coming out really here every minute. American Airlines has these one-way fares, Dallas to New York for $90, Miami to New York for $59, Philly to Orlando, LA to Miami, even LA to New York about $124. These are one-way fares, but if you look at package deals, those really seem to be where there are a lot of good deals here. There's a round trip 396 New York or Boston to London on American if you want to go overseas. And look at this one, Chicago to Rome 517. This is British Airways. Look at when you bundle in the hotel nights, $8.99 DC to London, 5 nights. LA to London, 7 days with a car rental, $749. That is an unbelievable. West Coast to London with the car, New York to Barcelona, 5 hotel nights there, $869. So look at those package deals. And I keep saying, remember the 3 Fs, fine print, flexibility. It might depend on when you can do it, and your frequent flyer or your membership. It's not an F, but your membership account.
Frequent flyer works.
That works. So you want to sign up for these accounts to make sure you get the best deal.
Fine print. That one's less fun.
Yeah, exactly. And extra miles. Sometimes you're getting extra miles and mileage for this.
That is so cool. Okay, cruising has been so popular. We know that they've been selling out, all that kind of stuff. What deals are there for people who want to book a cruise?
Look, breaking records on all kinds of travel. Breaking records again and again. So Norwegian has 50% off all cruises, and a couple of new vessels coming online. It even counts for those. Celebrity, you can save 75% on a second guest, plus $800 off on a stateroom. And you look at the fine print. Some of these you can book all the way into 2027. So if you're planning ahead, next summer, Alaska cruises, for example, have been very, very popular. Many of them are booked. You can book out another year, 2026, 2027, if you're really thinking about looking into the future.
Well, you should do an Alaskan cruise if you never have.
Have you done one?
Well, yes.
It's worth it.
We lived in Seattle, so we just walked to the boat and got on and went to Alaska.
It's on my bucket list. It's on my bucket list.
You definitely have to check it out. All right, so if you're not staying on a cruise ship, you probably need a hotel. I know some people like Airbnb. I'm still a hotel person. What's out there?
So there are a lot of great deals here. Again, look at your Hilton Honors app. Look at your Bonvoy app. And look at Hopper. You might want to sign up for one of these travel sites. The folks at Hopper have 50% off on 10,000 hotels. Expedia, if you're an Expedia member, 30% off of select hotels, 15% off of car rental. So a lot of great deals out there right now.
Okay, I love throwing a question like this in for the procrastinators out there. What if you want a Christmas or New Year's deal?
My mind is blown. Because I really plan these things out. If you are doing this right now, go to Hopper. This is what they tell us they have. Boston to Grand Cayman, you guys, come on.
Just do your Christmas there.
Come on. 377, Chicago to Fort Lauderdale, 140. Dallas to San Juan, 287. That is a great price. And Puerto Rico is beautiful.
These are not family trips, to be clear. These are like you want to get away.
I know. This is like,
escape.
Grandma, can you watch the kids? I need to go to Puerto Rico on January 2nd. But these are the last-minute Christmas deals that Hopper has on his site.
So funny that you say it blows your mind, because my husband and I are like, should we book something?
I know.
Doesn't surprise
Christine
me at all.
booked a year ago. She used Travel Tuesday to book a year
Travel
later.
Tuesday, you have till midnight, ladies and gentlemen. So, you've been buying for everybody else, now buy for yourself. And then do Giving Tuesday and
make sure you do. I did just look at my app, though, and it still heads to the Cyber Monday deals. So I don't know.
Oh, really?
So they're going to have to refresh that and see what's going on to get the Travel Tuesday deals, which I'm sure are better.
They're good.
Then Cyber Monday, probably, yeah. All right. Thanks, Christine. That was fun. Coming up, new video of an alleged stowaway on a flight from JFK to Paris.
What we've learned about the security scare and a new disturbance involving the same woman. That's next.
We're back now with new developments on a stowaway who successfully managed to bypass security at New York's JFK airport and board a Delta flight to Paris. We're learning that same woman had to be removed from her flight back to the U.S. after causing a disturbance.
NBC's Stephanie Gosk is here with this latest chapter. Steph, good morning.
Hey, guys, this is really a wild story. We spoke with a passenger on board that flight who recorded the incident on his cell phone. He described the woman's behavior as erratic, telling us the disturbance lasted about 20 minutes, but delayed the flight for hours.
Get asylum against the United States. My Geneva Convention impossible.
This morning, new video of a passenger removed from a U.S.-bound flight from Paris. The woman taken away before the plane left Paris en route to JFK Airport.
Please help here. United States broke my leg.
NBC News learning there was a disturbance from the same passenger who stowed away on a Delta flight to Paris last week. That passenger is now in custody of French authorities, according to a source with knowledge of the situation.
Something triggered her to start being uncooperative.
Gary Treichler was on board the flight with his family, saying the woman in the video, who appeared to be Russian and middle-aged, was restrained by yellow bands on her wrists.
The tension got worse and worse in the plane. She continued to get louder and louder. And
Treichler says after about 20 minutes, the woman finally started to calm down when 4 armed French police officers and an interpreter boarded the plane.
She was then escorted off the plane. Our flight was probably 2.5 to 3 hours late for takeoff.
A spokesperson for France's border police says a stowaway was initially denied entry to the country because she was not carrying a valid travel document or visa and was placed in a holding zone to be returned to the U.S. TSA officials say the woman stowed away last week on a Delta flight, completing a full security screening, bypassing 2 identity verification and boarding status stations.
We're just waiting for the police to come on board. They may be here now.
The TSA says she was not carrying any prohibited items and did not pose a security threat. A source with knowledge of the investigation says the agency only recovered 2 water bottles in her bag. The source adding the TSA plans to meet her at the gate when she eventually returns on U.S. soil. The TSA released a statement overnight saying it opens a civil case against any passenger when there is evidence that TSA regulations might have been violated. NBC News has reached out to Delta Airlines for comment as well, guys.
I mean, more questions than answers now.
Yes, a lot of
the definition of that.
Yes. Stephanie Goss, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now to new concerns about the health of Sir Elton John. The Grammy winner has been battling an eye infection that started back in September. Well, this weekend he told a theater full of people in London he is struggling to see clearly. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas has the details.
0 hour 90 AM.
The Rocket Man sharing a devastating update on his health condition.
As a kite by then.
The 5-time Grammy winner addressing a theater full of fans who had gathered to attend the London premiere of The Devil Wears Prada musical. John, who composed the energetic score,
this has been quite a journey.
Confessing to a packed London theater that he had trouble watching the show.
I've lost my eyesight, so it's hard for me to see it, but I love to hear it. And boy, it sounded good tonight, okay?
The singer saying via Instagram in September that the trouble began this summer with a severe eye infection, going on to say, "I am healing, but it's an extremely slow process."
A lot of viruses can cause inflammation of the back part of the eye called the retina. That's a very important part of the eye where all the input from the world, hits the eye and then gets transported to the brain. There are sometimes surgical remedies, such as a corneal transplant, for example, if corneal scarring is the reason for the diminished eyesight. And so, I'm hopeful that he would be able to recover a meaningful amount of his vision.
The 77-year-old singer's iconic career has included dozens of platinum albums and stunning live shows that have packed venues for decades. The vivacious performer bringing his musical magic to the silver screen, too, from writing songs in The Lion King to dazzling audiences of all ages on The Muppets. Fans eagerly awaiting his recovery. But just last week, John revealing on ABC News that the condition is still preventing him from recording new music.
I'm kind of stuck at the moment because I can do something like this, but going into the studio and recording, I don't know. Because I can't see a lyric for a start.
Now many music lovers wishing Elton John a speedy recovery and hoping he will be back behind the piano soon. Chloe Malas, NBC News, New York.
Certainly wishing him a speedy recovery. All right, coming up, we are decking the halls at Rockefeller Plaza.
After the break, we'll introduce you to the team behind the decorations as we gear up to light one of the most famous Christmas trees in the country. Stay with us. We are back, and it's an exciting time here at 30 Rockefeller Plaza. You can see it on your screen. The holiday transformation is in full swing right outside our studio ahead of tomorrow's big Christmas tree lighting.
I feel like the buildup has been extra long this year.
Yeah, because Thanksgiving was too late.
Here at Morning News Now, this time of year, unofficially known as the kickoff to Savannah season. Well, the tree is a dazzling sight to see. It's not the only sign of the season here at 30 Rock. NBC News correspondent Kaylee Hartung got a rare inside look at the company responsible for the angelic touch that makes the magic on the plaza truly come to life.
Hey there, the tree isn't the only thing people here line up to see at Rockefeller Center. For decades, 12 wire sculptured Christmas angels have been a permanent fixture in the Channel Gardens, and it's all made possible by the team at American Christmas, who just a few miles away are working around the clock year-round to bring the holiday spirit to life. In New York City, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. From dazzling displays up and down Fifth Avenue to the timeless angels at Rockefeller Center. The city is all decked out for the holidays, thanks to the work year-round at American Christmas.
I'm not sure many people know an operation like this exists.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 50 years, and each year we get a little bit bigger, get a little bit better.
With 400 clients nationwide, including in cities like Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and Tampa, American Christmas is behind some of the most iconic holiday decorations, past and present, handling everything from design and installation to storage and maintenance.
There's about 150 people on the production floor. We have crews running 24 hours a day.
Can I get a sneak peek?
Let's go see it.
So this is where the magic happens.
Yeah, this is our main warehouse in Mount Vernon, New York.
The company's 110,000 square foot headquarters, transforming into a real-life Santa's workshop.
This is, an active workshop.
Yeah, this is for a casino. What they're working on now is a tree that will get sculpted into a 30-foot Christmas tree.
Doesn't take any water.
Doesn't take any water, and it's sustainable. You'll get many years out of it.
It wasn't long before I was put to work.
How do we feel, right here?
I got to try my hand in decorating.
This thing better not fall off. I don't want that on me. I want to stay on Santa's good list.
That's the top of the tree you're working on.
Ooh, no pressure.
That looks perfect.
See where all the shiny objects are stored.
This is more than a couple of Tupperware boxes in the attic.
Yeah, we have over 300 different styles and options of ornaments here.
Learn some tricks of the trade.
What is the secret to properly lighting a tree and weaving those cords in and out?
So we wrap each individual tip to the center spine of the garland and then back out to the tip.
And get an up-close look at the crown jewels.
I believe we have come to Fifth Avenue.
Like this year's Cartier store display, filled with over 100,000 sparkling lights.
Anyone who's ever decorated their own Christmas tree before knows one light bulb goes out and you've got a problem.
Luckily, we don't have that problem. We test them, we program them. There's a lot that we do to make this go up.
And when you say go up, you mean go way up?
Way up, yes.
How long can the installation process take for Saks Fifth Avenue?
Upwards of 8 weeks.
From famous facades to some familiar faces.
Oh, I've seen these ladies before.
Yeah, these are the Christmas angels at Rockefeller Center.
For nearly 70 years, these 8-foot-tall angels have lined the Channel Gardens at Rockefeller Center. Each adorned with a trumpet, they symbolize the arrival of the holiday season.
And this is where your role in maintaining and caring for these legendary decorations comes into play.
Yes, Tishman Spire owns them and is our client. And what we do for them every year is paint them, take care of them, and make them try to look brand new every year.
And before the decorations come to Rockefeller Plaza, here they are.
Here they are, and they're ready for 2024.
The angels, as well as, oh, we've seen these guys before.
Yeah, these are the cadets that they place around the plaza.
And soon, in the early morning calm, when not a creature was stirring, Dan's team delivered the Christmas magic.
Why is this something that brings you joy?
I've been doing it for over 20 years. For me, it's fun. We enjoy going around and seeing people enjoy their work.
American Christmas says it takes a crew of 6 to clean, paint, and refresh these sculptures each year. That includes replacing a total of 3,000 mini bulbs. Imagine. Back to you.
Kaylee, thank you so much, and Merry Christmas. And now that you got a little look behind the scenes, we hope that gets you even more pumped to join us for the Christmas in Rockefeller Center special.
I hope it's not a situation where like one bulb goes out and they all go out.
Oh, stop.
So it's all going down.
Put that in the universe.
8 p.m. on NBC and Peacock. Finally this hour, the kickoff for what's known as the season of giving.
Yeah, today, as we've been talking about, it's been dubbed Giving Tuesday. And on this day last year, more than $60 million were raised through donations to a nonprofit on GoFundMe or an individual fundraiser. But experts say this day isn't just about donating money. It's a day to really champion the causes that you actually really care about.
The CEO of GoFundMe, Tim Cadogan, is here with more on this. Happy Giving Tuesday.
Yes.
Talk just a little bit about kind of where this comes from and the meaning of this day and what it's become.
Sure. Thanks for having me. So Giving Tuesday was actually created here in New York City at the Y on 92nd Street in 2012. And it really builds on the tradition of Thanksgiving and the reflection and gratitude of that. And it's a day to focus on the people and causes that we care about and giving forward to them. And just to give you an idea, last year, folks in the U.S. gave about $3 billion just on this one day to nonprofits.
Oh, my goodness. That's just an incredible number. I know that you also, there are other ways besides just your money to give. If you don't have the financial means to do so, how can you participate in Giving Tuesday?
Yes, there are a lot of ways to help. One of the most simple is even if you can't donate, you can share a fundraiser or a charity that you care about with your community on social media, and that can be extraordinarily powerful. I'll just give you one example. One of our users gave just $5, but she shared with her community and generated $100,000 in donations. So sharing is super powerful. You can also create a fundraiser. Obviously, you can use GoFundMe to do that for someone that you care about. And, of course, you can volunteer. So last year, 75 million Americans volunteered. So you can commit by registering, set up a date, volunteer for an organization that you care about.
And that is something that is so much in need in so many organizations all around the country. All right, so GoFundMe was created in 2010. You guys helped digitize this idea of donating. How has this changed in the 14 years since then?
It's really become a movement in which people can create a fundraiser for themselves, for someone they care about, another individual in their family or a friend, and also for a nonprofit organization. And so it's added a whole new layer of giving, sort of direct, immediate impact to the people you care about that layers on top of the nonprofit giving that we're used to.
It was really cool there to see, I think it was just broken out by generation on the screen, how many young people are involved here in donating.
Yes, it's become a huge part of what's happening is Gen Z, which is people aged 12 to 27, are digital natives. They're super active. They're giving, but they're also sharing. And so those sharing trends they talked about, tremendously important. Just to give you one data point, a Gen Z person is 10 times more likely to share a fundraiser than a baby boomer. So very influential and really help.
Multiplies.
Exactly. Multiply attention and therefore giving.
And baby boomers are still writing checks and mailing them to people, so,
which is super
which is great.
Yeah. Super important.
Just not shared on social media.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
right.
is there any just story that stands out, or just any anecdote from your years of seeing this that just really warmed your heart more than anything else? I'm sure you hear so many things.
Yes, I mean, I think I'll take a recent example, which of course was Hurricane Helene, which hit really severely here in the U.S. and people mobilized in an incredible way. And within a month, raised over $100 million on GoFundMe to help individuals rebuilding their lives and nonprofits working on the ground. And that was just a great example of people coming together that we've seen very recently.
Very cool. What do you expect to see today?
I'm hoping for a significant step over $3 billion and a lot of help going to a lot of great organizations and individuals.
And that's kind of your marker there. Getting over $3 billion is a really successful year.
For the industry as a whole, and hopefully we can help contribute to that in a meaningful way.
Everybody at home, you can too. Tim, thank you very much. Happy holidays. Happy Giving Tuesday.
You bet. Right
Had to GoFundMe, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can find people in your neighborhood that you may not know, but you want to help. If you're looking for ideas, there are so many opportunities to help.
Love it.
Or check your email box this morning. I guarantee you're getting asked. Thank you so much. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.